Good day. For today's video, we will be multiplying integers. Our essential question for today is, how do you multiply integers? We have one vocabulary term, and that is product, which is the answer to a multiplication problem. Our first example, we are going to look at multiplying integers using a number line. And we are going to multiply integers with opposite signs. So if we have a problem for this, or an example. Henry made 3 withdrawals of $2 each from his savings account. What was the change in his balance? So now when I read this, I see the keyword withdrawals, which makes me think that I'm going to be dealing with a negative number, and that number is going to be 2 because he's withdrawing $2. So this is kind of a key piece of information. Another key piece of information is that he did this 3 times. So we know that multiplication is just like repeated addition. So I know that that's -2 plus -2 plus -2, which is essentially the same as, we know, a multiplication problem, -2 times 3. So now, how am I going to show this on a number line? Well, I know that I need to start at 0, and I'm going 2 places to the left because it is a -2, and I'm going to go 2 places to the left 3 times. So I'm going to start at 0 and hop 2 places to the left. That's 1 time, and now I'm going to do it again. That's 2 times, so 1, 2, and then I'm going to hop 2 times again, and that's that 3rd time. And I know here, well, I'm at -6. So as I can see here, the product of -2 and 3 is -6. The product of -2 times 3 equals -6. Take note of that. We see that we have a negative times a positive equals a negative. For our second example, we're going to just take a quick look at multiplying with the same sign. So we see here, we have an example of finding the product of -3 times -4. But I'm going to rewrite it as -3 without parentheses times -4, which is within parentheses. And when I write it like that, that negative right here, it's actually going to mean the opposite of 3, because we do know, I know that a negative is the opposite of a positive, and therefore a positive is the opposite of a negative. So I'm going to have to model 3 times -4 before I can find the opposite of 3 times -4. So here I have modeled 3 groups of -4. So I have 4, 4, 4, and they're all negatives. So -4 times 3 is a product of -12. But remember here, in my original problem, I'm really looking at the opposite of 3 times -4. So here I'm going to have to model 3 groups of 4. Don't mind my lovely circles here. And the opposite of 3 groups of -4 is going to have to be 3 groups of +4, because I know that there's only one number that is the opposite of a -4, and that is a +4. So each one of these is a positive, or in class, this would be a yellow counter. So as silly as it sounds, what I really have here is a +12, which is the opposite of, so the opposite of 3 groups of -4. So let's look at this closely. A -4 times -3 gives us the product 12. Negative times a negative, here I have a positive. Now, looking at these your turns on your own, there are 5 problems here. Take each one at a time. If you get stuck on anything, just put a question mark beside it, circle it, do whatever you need to do. We will discuss this tomorrow when we are doing our CPR focused around this video. Bring any questions you have to class and we will clarify them during class.